Okay, now we're going to do the opposite of what we did on the other side. We're going to start with the graph, or start with information about our circle, and we're going to write the equation ourselves. Notice this is the same equation we had on the other side. H and K is still the center of the circle, and R squared is right here, and R is still the radius of the circle. So it's the same formula we had on the other side. Now we're just going to be writing the formula ourselves. So when you start to write these, this much of the formula is going to always be the same. You're always going to put in the x equals, you're always going to put in the x, you're going to put in the squared plus the y, close parentheses and squared, and the only thing that's going to vary in each one is what is the h, what is the k, and what is the r here. So this center is my hk. So it's going to be x minus 2 for that part there, and y minus 3 for that part right there. And then remember, it's always r squared here, so I have to square the r. 5 squared is 25. Remember, just like we talked about on the other side, you can either remember that these have minuses in the formula, or remember that you have to switch the sign. If it's a positive 2 here, it's a negative 2 when I put it here in this formula. Okay, let's do the next one. Here's my h, here's my k, and I'm going to have x minus, and then that's a negative 3. But what is x minus a negative 3? A minus a negative is the same thing as x plus 3. So these two things mean the same thing, and you could write it either way. The next one is y minus negative 4 squared, and that's the same thing as y plus 4 squared. And finally we have r squared. R squared is 1 squared is still 1, and I put it here. I would accept either one of these, but you do have to make sure you have the squareds on these when you write them. This does have to be a plus here in the middle, and this has to actually be squared out. Just like I squared the 5 here, and I got 25. Don't leave it as 5 squared. You have to write in the 25. Okay, and finally we have this one, where the h and k are both at 0. So when I write this down, we'd have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals, r squared would be 9. But I don't want you to leave it like this. We would never leave it like this, because x minus 0 is just x. So I want you to rewrite it like this. And y minus 0 is y squared. So on this one, I do want you to write it like this part here. Now, what if they don't give you the information? What if they just give you the graph? Well, it's really easy. You just find the information yourself to begin with. First, find what's the radius of the circle. Well, the radius of the circle here is 2. And then where's the center? Well, the center is at 1, negative 3. So now, once you found the radius in the center, now it's just like we were doing on those. Write the equation. X, this is my hk, minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals r squared 4. On the next one, the radius is 3. The center's at 4, 3. Now write the equation. X, this is my h and my k, x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals r squared, which is 9. Notice on each one of these that the sign is switching as I plug them into the formulas. And finally, this one, you do have to be careful where the center is. This center is at 4, 0. Because the first number always tells me to go over in the x direction. On this one, the radius is 3. And now we can write it out. X minus 4 squared plus, this would be y minus 0, but we know y minus 0 is just y squared equals r squared is 9. Now you should get practice number 2 from your teacher. Do practice number 2, have it checked, and turn it in.